Hello, YouTubers. Wait, did they call it YouTubers? YouTube persons. Hello, YouTube persons, YouTubers. Today is Wednesday, and today is a special day because it's just a special day. And today is special because I'm trying to stall to see what the date is. Today is September 9th, 2020. And we still have the coronavirus around us. Aaron is slowly dying from allergy, and so is Karen, and also Raya. However, I'm not dying as quickly as those people are. So, okay, that's it. I ran out of creative things to say. I'm gonna share my screen and I'm gonna show Karen. Karen's gonna start us. Karen, you are going to assess what I wrote here and tell me if this is correct, incorrect, or just whatever. And the rest of you could analyze it too if you want. So I am in A minor. You can unmute at this point because I'm sharing the screen, so it's gonna be fine. And silence covereth the earth, except there's a violin scale playing in the background. Okay, talk to me, Karen. Did you like it? Did you have an approved? Do I have an approved thing from you?
Well, I think it's fine. So,
COVID.
how about doubling the third in the last question?
Huh?
From the BBC?
In fairness, wala ako naintindihan.
Ano po? Okay na po lahat. Pero what if ano po? Double ko yung third yung last chord.
Double the third sa last chord. So ito, right here.
No. C po. Sa may tenor.
Ito. Okay. Why?
Because, yeah.
No, if I'm a student, Mom, why? Well, then that's correct. That's the natural resolution of that's a typical resolution, diba? And this is I'm talking to everybody now. That's a typical resolution, diba? Good. Now, well, what about this? What about this part? Should I change my tenor or not? Okay, let me ask it this way. Why do we, not why, but one of the things that we kind of want, why we went to double this is, remember, this is not C major, this is A minor, okay? So it's not T to do, but it's re to May. And one of the things that we typically resolve that way is because we don't want to create not parallel fifths, but what kind of fifths? That's not still kind of unacceptable. You remember? Unequal fifths, yeah. So if we look, okay, so I'm just gonna write it here. Unequal, I can't spell equal. fifths, right? Unequal fifths equals a perfect fifth going to a diminished fifth, okay? So diminished fifth or augmented fifth, okay? Diminished fifth, but if it's going from a perfect fifth to an augmented fourth, that's not unequal fifths anymore because they're not 5 to 5, right? Although if you look at the piano, it's the same sound. But unequal fifths, we don't want unequal fifths. And one of the things that happen here is this tenor and soprano goes in unequal fifths, right? So we don't want that to happen. So one of the things that the typical resolution, so Karen is correct to say, you know what, you just to be safe, just double a third of this one. And it's correct. And she'll be just fine. Okay? All right, you slumbery people. Yeah, I feel like I'm teaching like at an emergency room where like people are like dying. You guys look so tired. I mean, I don't really, I don't blame you for looking tired or something. But I just like, this is when you look like. It's like teaching theory at parang ano yun, yung senior, yung home ng mga senior citizen. Ano tawag doon?
Home for the aged.
Home for the aged. Yun. Mga home for the aged. Ganyan, music theory. Okay, today we're gonna do music theory. And they're like, in the world. Okay, so Aaron, if you are ready, I'm gonna give you permission to share your screen. I'm gonna look at your outline. Whoa, Aaron's got like a sermon outline. The joke lang. It's a pretty good one, I think. It's a good one. Okay. So whenever you need to start, Aaron, you have. I'm gonna start the timer for 15 minutes once you start.
Good morning po.
Arnie.
And 7 inversions. And let's continue. Okay, 5/7 is a tonal pillar and is commonly used for signaling for a cadence. And in here, in this particular, oops, sorry. Gumagalaw mag-isa. Okay. In here, we remember our Tito Do and Fa to Me to resolve the 5/7, and yun palagi yung ating inaalaala when it comes to that. And then, but in this case, as we talk about dominant 7 inversions, halos ganoon din yung idea, but then with some of the exceptions. Okay, so now, as before we go on with the actual review of these inversions and of how we are going to do this, it's important. Why are we talking about the dominant 7 inversions? Ano ba talaga yung gamit la? Why spend 2 weeks of our discussions, almost 2 weeks of our discussions dito sa point na to? It's important because it provides an option for smoother tone movements, okay? As it provides yung embellishments. So, the main purpose is just to smoothen. Pwede nating isipin, bakit hindi pwedeng ano na lang, puro root position na lang. We can, for example, sa isang phrase, we have the 5/7 in root position. You have this sol and then going to do. So, medyo malayo yung tatalunan niya. But then when we use these inversions, nagkakaroon tayo ng mas malapit na movements and smoother, and then mamaya makikita natin kung ano yung nangyayari dun sa certain part na yon. This also used to expand the tonic area within a phrase. So itong dominant 7 inversions ay mas useful sa tinatawag na phrases rather than the cadences. So dun siya mas malamang na ginagamit. Now let us go on with the types of inversions. As we all know, we have the first inversion, or we call that as the 5-6-5. Okay, where T is the base. Okay, and then expanding the tonic by a neighbor chord. Okay, and then the seventh often appears to be mirroring the base in the contrary. Mamaya mas maintindihan natin with this next slide. Okay, so we have here an example of the first inversion 5-6. Okay, in the key of G. We have here the base, which is G. It goes to so what's the 5 of G? It's D. Okay, so yung first inversion niya, we have the base, which is F sharp, and then going back to G. What I'm saying with this part in this thing, the seventh often appears to be mirroring, is like this one. As you can see, on the contrary, yung neighbor movement noong base is on the upward movement naman nung seventh. Ano po? So we have B going to C and then going back to B. How does this sound? It sounds like this po. Okay. Narinig niyo po ba?
Ano, medyo hindi. Pero I think you need to click yung Aaron,
Ay,
yung
okay po.
audio.
I think I need to stop the sharing po muna.
Yeah.
Or, ari po, ito pala. Speaker. Yun po bang same as system, ma'am?
Hindi, gawin mo, stop mo yung share. Tapos, once you click share screen, di ba may mga options ng window?
Up po.
Go down and see share computer audio.
Okay po. Okay, isa pa po. Take 2.
Game! Play yan sa gitna. O, di ba?
Okay, isa pa. Last one po. Okay, so that is how the first inversion sounds. Now, the second type of inversion, which is the second version, or we call that as the 5-4-3. Re is the base, and then can be used as either neighbor chord or a passing chord. So, with this exception, I think in second inversion 5-4-3, maganda na maalala natin that when 4-3 is a part of an ascending soprano line, specifically, binabanggit sa atin ni ma'am yung idea ng mi, fa. Okay, so the most common way is to resolve fa with mi. Okay, but then if it's ascending, pinapaalala sa atin ulit that it can go to sol. Okay, instead of the fa to mi resolution. Why? The main purpose is because of the parallel 10th motion between soprano and the bass. Ano po? So sabi nga, ang paalala sa atin, ang BFF natin is, I think, the thirds, and then I think the sixth, and as well the tenths. I think that's kasama po doon. But isang paalala po doon with that exemption is, this is not done at the cadence point. Ano po? Okay? So, ngayon, nabanggit natin kanina itong idea, which is either as neighbor chord or passing chord. Makikita natin yan on these examples. The first one is this. So the bass part, okay, you can see here the neighbor chord. Okay. So you have G and then the 4-3 and then going back to the G. So it moves like that. And then it sounds like this. Okay. And then in here, this example, shows yung pagiging neighbor chord ng inversion na ito. But in this case, we have here the movement, yung sinasabi natin kanina na tense, which is 4-3 used as a passing chord. So you can see in the soprano line, we have here the mi, fa, sol. We use the key of C because we're on the college level. Okay. So we have mi, fa, and then sol, and then the bass is do, re, mi. Okay, so we have the 10th in there. And then one thing you have to remember is that wala kang choice kung gusto mong gamitin ito with the ascending line. You have to end with the 1-6. Okay, so in order to have that 10th. So this is how it sounds. Okay, so it's being used as a passing chord. Ano po?
Wait, si ba
So,
yun sorry, Aaron.
Yes po.
Typo lang yun. Pero si ba yun nasa last measure? Or D?
Ay, sorry po. Sumali yata yung
Yan okay.
supposedly.
yung tinunog nung, I think yung tinunog nung recording is E minor 7 chord.
Sorry po.
Which is actually kind of cool. Did you hear it? It sounds cool. Anyway, thanks for composing.
Okay.
Carry on.
And then the third one, which is, we call that as the third inversion, the 5-4-2 or the 5-2 to lessen time sa pagsusulat ng 4. Okay. Fa is the bass. And then, ito yung kailangan nating maalala dito sa part na to. Yung idea na ito yung pinaka least stable. Okay, why? Because of the 7th chord, which is the leading tone as its bass. So, hindi siya, it's like your friend na sensitive. Ano? So, yun yung dahilan niya. Shaky yung foundation niya. Okay? And then, in this 5-4-2 inversion, ang ipinapakita sa atin, in order to expand the tonic, we use here the voice exchange. No, kung naalala pa natin, okay, so this is the picture of a voice exchange. We have the D, and then paki-check, tingnan na lamang po natin. Kung may mga mali po ako sa notes, patawarin niyo po. Yes pa.
Akala ko po ba yung fa tonal pillar?
Part, ano yun, Karen? Hindi ko na...
Yung fa po tonal pillar.
Anong... Sorry. What do you mean? Sorry. Nakamute ka.
Yung una side mo ate. Hindi ko.
Anong Karen? Hindi ko na-get. Karen?
Yung sa sir, yung previous
nawawala. Nawawala yung sound mo.
I think what Karen is trying to ask po,
Okay.
bakit, di ba po fa is tonal pillar?
Saan part yan? Ito. Okay.
Opo.
Okay. Parang, sorry parang anong point? Sorry, medyo slow ako.
I think po, hindi ko po sure, pero I think di ba po D, G, F po yung bass. I think yung question po ni Karen, bakit daw po unstable since tonal pillar daw po yung G? Kasi fa. I think, ayun po yung pagkaintindi ko sa question ni Karen.
Yung idea ng kung bakit unstable siya. Dahil sa lagi siyang may pull pa rin, I think, doon sa Fa wants to go to me. So, I mean, ano ba yung, paano ko ba? Exertion. So, unstable siya. Yeah, kasi leadingan siya eh. I mean, lagi siyang may gustong puntahan. Parang ganun yung nakikita ko doon.
So I think, sir, ibig sabihin, kumbaga, just, follow up sa question ni Karen para masyado kang maguluhan. De, joke lang. So if we go by the fact na yung baseline is Fa and that makes it unstable sa 5-7, so that also means na yung, let's say we take a 4 chord, which is Fa La Do, right? On a root position 4, why do we double yung Fa? Why is it okay to double yung Fa sa 4 but not, and it's gonna be more stable na i-double yung Fa sa 4, pero pag sa 5-7, yung Fa yung nasa base, all of a sudden it's unstable. I think po because it's para pong idea mo, yung sa 4 chord, it's okay na i-double yung Fa. I think po it's because it's the 7th. Keep going.
I think it's the 7 and it's not the, what did I say?
Something about the 7th. You're on the right track. Something about Fa being 7th.
Main term dun.
Yung mga home for the aged fans mo, hindi ka tutulungan, no? Joke lang.
Call a friend.
Are in their minds and hearts, nag-cheer sila for you.
Ba't nga ba?
So, who wants to? Okay. Here we go. Raya says, is it because it is not a 4, but a 5 chord? Time's up. 15 minutes is up. It's not a 4, but a 5 chord. Okay, that sort of helps, but it is, that's in the right direction. But the 7th, I like the 7th track better. So what about the Fa that makes it unstable? That's, I guess that's what you should ask. Okay, what makes Fa unstable in a 5-7? The answer is the 7th. Yeah, chordal 7th. Right. So when you put anything, remember in a chord, and I'm answering this because it's some sort of a review for your stuff. But when you're dealing with tones or specific pitches, they always work in a context. So in a context of a scale, Fa, it really is a tonal pillar, right? Do, Fa, Sol, Do, right? But that tone itself does not exist just in that scale world, diba? So intervals is its own context. Remember this? So when you put a 7th above a bass, all of a sudden that 7th is not going to be it's not going to function the same way it functions in a 4 chord. Okay. So 4 chord, it is the root of fa is the root of that chord. It is the stablest because it's the root of the chord. It's based on fa. But fa in this case is not based on anything. The fa is working in connection with the 5, right? Which is sol. So in that case, when you put fa in a 7th intervallic relationship with a bass or anything, then it becomes unstable. So the chord itself has its own little world or has its own little context. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
That says mga lolo at lola? Okay lang po ba yun? Okay. I'm making fun of you because I like to. Okay, keep going, Aaron. I feel generous with
Salamat po.
keep going.
So yun po. This is how it sounds. So that's the third inversion. The last one we have here is another way of expanding the tonic, which is, we call this as the combined inversions. So these are the only things I find in here. So prolongs the tonic area and then often create double neighbor tones, which goes like this one. Okay, so we have here, especially in the bass line, you have this 5-6-5 going to 4-3, and then going back to 1. You have here your double neighbor tones, and then that's it. So okay. I hope tama po yan. So, before we proceed po doon po sa application, do you have any additional questions po? I hope.
Opo.
Pwede po, wag lang mahirap. Okay.
Bakit po ganun? Bakit kailangan sa mga inversions, bakit 6-5, 4-3, 4-2, bakit hindi na lang po ibang numbers like 9-8 or 4-5 or 2-3 or something like that?
I think this is, I mean, how do I explain it? I think it's ano eh, tama ba yung term ko? Yun yung natural na position. I mean, you can put the notes doon sa sinasabi ni Ryan na mga 9 above the from the bass, the relation to the bass. But I think that the easiest point na nasa dyan nakaposition. Kumbaga, yun yung basic. Can I say that? Yung may
Does that answer the question, Raya?
I don't.
So will it be right to call a first inversion 5-7 a 5-9-8? Is that okay? I mean, I don't know. I kind of like the number 9. Can I do that? I mean, why is it not the basic na 9-8, 5-9-8, 5? I don't know. I kind of like the number 17, 5-17, 16. Will it be right? Why is it not right? Why is it? Bakit siya basic? Bakit siya yung basic? Bakit 6-5-4-3 and 4-2 yung basic?
I mean, in a sense po, parang mas makikita natin kung ganun yung idea na kagaya ng binabanggit mo ng mga 17, it's I think maraming pahihirapan.
Well, here's the thing. If I say a 5-7 first inversion as a 5-9-8, will it be correct? Will that be correct? To say a 5-9-8 is first inversion kasi mas matalino ako than everybody else in the world and I can count that many intervals up. I'm gonna do 5-9-8 instead. The first inversion will I be correct to call it 5-9-8 even if my mind goes quickly with intervals?
Sa tingin ko po, ma'am, I don't know if that exists.
Oh, it does. Okay, let's count. I don't have my whiteboard here. Let's count. Let's count from G and ninth from G.
What I mean po, ma'am, is yung mismong the concept is existing, but yung I don't know if that the musician's term
What about 17? 17, 12. 5, 17, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, hold on. 8 plus 16 is 2 octaves, right? 16, 17. A and G. what
Ay,
was that?
okay po. Wait lang po.
Yun na. Sige, I'll wait for you.
I think pala po it's possible.
I'll be correct if I say my first inversion of 5, 7 is 5, 9, 8.
I think is it not the same po dun sa may mga nilalagyan ng 9 sa dulo?
Also, it's the same. Karen has something to say. Karen, do you have something to say? Karen looks like she's constipated. She's like,
Ayaw na.
yeah, unmute mo din para.
Yung kung 9/8 po ba, hindi siya belong sa coordination? Kasi 9 from G is A.
Okay. Why can't I call it 9/8?
Call a friend po.
What about Raya? Maybe Raya has already figured out the answer.
I'm not sure, ma'am, pero like, I remember Miss Amy saying that it has something to do with the intervals between ng mga ano. I think, I'm not really sure.
I love it. I actually know what you guys ought to like think about. Okay. Clue. I'm gonna give you a clue. Okay. I wish I could play Hangman right now. We're on a whiteboard. We're on a whiteboard. 2 words. Distance, base. Hindi ko na mabasa yung lips mo, Raya. Distance, base.
Does it have something to do with the figured base?
Yes, because it is figured base. Karen, distance,
Yeah.
base. Why is it called a 5-7 anyway?
7, 5.
Why is there 7? Why is there 7? Kasi
This 7 po.
use the word distance and base. Why is there a 5-7 sa 5? Why is there a 7 sa 5-7?
The 5. The 5 of the scale and the 7.
There is a 7th, a distance of 7th.
From the
What's the next word? Distance of 7 from the. Come on, Lola. Basahin mo yung lips ni Raya. From the
base po.
Yeah, from the base, right? So G, let's say, D major, A, B, C, E, F sharp, G, right? So that's a 7. Now, when we say a 6-5, that means there's a 6th, there's a distance of a 6th from the base. So if I say 9-8, Karen is going in this direction. If there is a 9-8, that doesn't make sense as a first inversion 5-7 because there's not a 5-7 inversion has a distance of a 6 and a 5 from the base. Right? So that is like the main reason why we call it 6-5, 4-3, and 4-2. And the 17-8 and 35-4. Okay, I mean it sounds like a parang a philosophical question, but at the same time, it really is like, yeah, why do we call it 6-5-4-3, 4-2? I'm like putting this right in the front of your mind right now because we're gonna be doing some figure-based stuff, and you're gonna be like, what in the world are these numbers? And it has something to do with the distance from the base. And you can see that a 5-2, one of the things why it's unstable, it has the second from the base. And remember why we invert the leading tone chord in first inversion, because we don't want the diminished fifth from the base, right? We want a 6-3 instead. We want the consonants of the sixth and the third. So those numbers are kind of formulaic in a sense, 6-5-4-3-4-2. But in a sense, conceptually speaking, it should help you once you see, oh, 6, a couple of 6 here would be nice sounding. So something like that. Okay. I know, Aaron, you have an activity, but that's okay. We're running out of time, so I shall release you from prison. Boom, you are released. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be rude, and I'm gonna do this. I just stopped your screen share. Okay. Any questions for Friday, mga lolo at lola? Home for the aged peoples. You know what? I should buy you a straight jacket. Oh wait, that's a mental hospital. Home for the aged. The mental hospital. Ano na lang, Kane. But if you have any questions on Friday, say yes. We do have lots of questions on Friday.
Mama, anong meron sa Friday?
My exam guys are Friday. Wait, seriously, Karen? Did you not realize my exam guys Friday?
Iba pa po yun sa take home.
Take
What?
home.
So, di ba, usually my take home and then my exam? Okay lang, nasa home for the aged ka naman. It's okay to forget. Boom. No. So here's what I actually need to talk to you about for Friday. So the test on Friday is divided into 2 parts, 60 points, 3 parts long. Okay. So first part is multiple choice. Second part is short answers. Third part is error detection. So walang part writing, just error detection. And multiple choice, it's the same thing as last semester how I do multiple choice. It's your handouts. Okay, I'm not gonna ask for like anong page sa Copeland is this phrase written. That's okay. It's more conceptual, like the ones that Raya reviewed to us actually was helpful. Is that Raya? Yeah, Raya, because she took the easiest one, supposedly easiest. So that actually was helpful to review the planes, the cycle of the listener composer, but you kind of have to know what those things mean right off the bat. So like if sensuous plane mean this, okay, then this is going to be. So I'll give certain numbers with scenarios instead of just like which plane means this. I asked, I think one something like that, but I've asked scenario things, maybe 1 or 2. Number 1, and then the next thing that you need to do is like the 5-7, the leading tone chords, the part writing stuff, the introductory stuff. Okay, if you pay attention to the introductory stuff, the part writing guidelines, you pretty much know that. It's nothing new under the sun. So, so that's that. So that's the multiple choice. Short answer is still gonna be in your handout. Okay, it's big terms, like terms that you're like, I made a huge deal on the lecture. And then error detection, I wrote a 4-measure thing with errors in it, and I even was super kind and super gracious and merciful and tender and slow to anger and all sorts of things like that. And I wrote measure numbers. So there's like measure one, give me, there are two errors in measure one, or there are three errors in measure two, 4 errors in measure 4. So things like that. I think that's it. And then one other thing is, if you are able to take Google Classroom and do Zoom, then that would be great. Kind of like what we did in the thing. If that's a problem, then don't prioritize Zoom. Okay, but if you can do Zoom and Google Classroom at the same time, that would be great. One other thing is the exam is going to be open in Google Classroom at 11. So we could meet here in Zoom really quickly, 5 minutes, and then I'm going to let you take the exam, and it's going to go on only till 12:10. Okay, so I gave like a 10-minute, I'll take a little bit 5 minutes at the beginning, and then I'll give you another 5 or 10 minutes, actually 20 minutes above the schedule. Okay, so the form will actually not accept any of your response if you do turn it in, submit it, or respond to it after 12:10, which it shouldn't take that long, seriously. Okay, all right. Who's gonna have a heart attack? Did they just figure out there's an exam on Friday? But you know what? It's fun night on Friday, so Friday night should be fun. Sorry, Aaron, what were you saying?
Yung take home po.
You take home, you turn it in sa Google Classroom. Before 11.
Okay, yung first part mo.
Ano meron sa first part? Yung analysis?
Oh, man yun.
Meron. Okay? I mean, find the cadence and figure out if find a remotely sounding 5-1 and figure out which one's 5, figure out which one's 1. And then look at the accidentals and see if the key works with it. Don't look at the key signature, because Bach sometimes have like bad days, like he ran out of ink, but apparently he has ink to write for the accidentals and not just the key signature.
So i-disregard na lang po namin yung yung kissing, as in yung kissing.
But I mean, if it has 1 sharp, then it probably carries all the sharp, unless he puts like natural signs all of the F sharps. But I think the F sharp should carry for the whole thing.
Kaya pala. As in, ma'am, hindi ko po siya mapagtama, sabi ko.
I don't know, augmented 7, ganon. Na-analyze na augmented 7, things like that. Yeah, find a remotely, a cadence sounding thing. There. It's like, this sounds like this. Okay. Or just count the accidentals. And you're like, why? You're probably in B flat major or something. Joke lang. Remember, it still could be in minor. Which makes things super funny. Anyway, welcome to Music Theory 2! All right, anything else you want to complain about and confess? Whatever? Mga lolo't lola? Baka umiinit na yung inyong mga sopas? Lumalamig na yung mga sopas? Lumalamig na yung mga sopas? Or what? Okay. Aside from you just want to cry or what? Okay. Yes, Karen?
Isat ko na lang po kayo siguro. Tungkol po kasi sa orchestra, ma'am.
Tungkol sa orchestra? Wala pa akong...
Ma'am, wala. Yung practice time po, wala pa.
Yung practice time sa orchestra?
Opo.
Ano meron?
Like,
1 hour? 1 hour for you, di ba? Kasi may private lesson ka.
So, wala pong practice time this week?
Meron. Wait lang.
Ma'am, ba't But wala pong nakapost sa Google Classroom.
Oh, that's what you're asking. Okay, yeah, I'll make sure I post that. It should be posted. Yeah. Okay, I'll post that. Sorry.
Oh.
Wala na. Okay, leave me. I forgot to pause the recording.